I am going to mentor myself. I found 4 guys in an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting that had never been on a roof before that I'm gonna fucking make it. Yes.
I know all your
Yes.
steps.
And then I had to get on the computer and do office work when I got home. So I'm gonna get us out of here. Just like, let's just keep going.
So I'm driving an hour and a half every day, picking everybody up at their separate houses in the morning.
Working 16-hour days, this is nuts. When you're not a normal person, you're a complete drug addict. And that was my first roofing crew that I'm getting ready to talk about. This is gonna be a fun one today, guys. I am going to mentor myself because luckily, early on, for some reason, I don't know why, I used to keep like a video journal of me in my truck when I was out there running around like a maniac trying to build my business. So this is me in the early years, in my first and second year in business. I didn't know anything about business. I was overwhelmed all the time. I was just fucking working as hard as I possibly could, just trying to build my business with brute force. But I didn't have any of the knowledge, any of the skills, any of the experience that I have today. So I'm gonna listen to myself talk in this video and I'm just gonna commentate on it. You definitely wanna watch this video and you'll probably love watching this video if you yourself were a roofer or a trades guy or a technician in the field that you went on to start a business in. Because that's my story, that's my background. And in my opinion, I did it the hard way, basically. I definitely did it the hard way. If I was to start a business today, I definitely would not start it the way that I started this one. But because this was my first business and because I was coming from the background I was coming from, I kind of did it with brute force. I did it with toughness. I did everything the hard way. So let's start listening and I'll just pause and commentate and give little suggestions as we hear myself in year 2, I believe, in business.
What up, man? It is 9:31, driving home from work. It's not rare that I'm driving home this late. It's just not. It happens all the time.
My first thought. So I'm in my truck. It's dark. I would show the video, but I can't because it's dark in my truck. You can't see anything anyway, so it's just going to be audio. But it's 9:30 at night, and I had just left a customer's house. And I did this all the time. All the time. And you'll hear later on in the video that I had to go home and work on the computer. So I was on this lady's roof until 9 o'clock at night. I drove home. I probably got home at 10. And then I had to get on the computer and do office work when I got home. So this is what it's like when you start a business. You don't necessarily have to work this hard and have to work this many hours, but like if you're really committed to growing your business, if you're really committed to changing your life with your business, if you're really committed to growing quickly, this is what it takes. And all real business owners on the internet say the same thing. Nobody's trying to sugarcoat anything. Nobody's trying to tell you you're gonna get rich. This is how you get rich, only working 3 hours a week. Like the real business owners on YouTube don't have that message. They are honest about how hard it is. And I say it all the time, I wouldn't do it again if I had. And that's the truth because I remember what it was like. And watching these videos back, it almost feels like I'm watching a different person because in a lot of ways I am. But just the first takeaway I get already within 10 seconds of the video is just like a reminder of how I crushed myself physically, mentally, emotionally. I crushed myself. I basically sacrificed my whole life to build my business. Do you need to do it to the extent I did? Probably not, but if you're gonna get there quick, I mean, that's what it takes. That's just what it is. Let's continue.
Working every day like I used to. Like I used to work till this time all the time. Like I don't know, probably 4 days out of the week would run this late. That's roofers work that way, man. Like we try to get an insane amount of shit done in one day so we can make as much money as possible, and that's the life of a roofer, man. So I'm used to working this late, but now that I'm the business owner, like I do a lot of running around during the day, estimates, getting permits ready, getting future jobs set up, making sure the guys have the material they need. I do a lot of running around during the day, but I always start and finish my day with my guys at least. At the very least, I start and finish the day with them. So today it was like 4:45 when I got back with them. And they still had a ton of shit to do. And dude, it's the end of August in South Florida, man. It's hot as fuck. And they still had a lot of shit to do, and I seen that, so I hopped in the truck, I set up my little hotspot, I sent out 2 estimates that I promised I'd send out tonight, because if I tell someone I'm going to do something, I got to do it, so I sent out them 2 estimates through.
Okay, couple things so far. Good job, kid. Just what I just said. Like, if I tell somebody I'm gonna do something, I have to do it. This is like a huge value of mine, and this is something that kept me working so hard in the beginning because I was so insecure about my business and about like who I was and about doing the right thing for people that I would overpromise people. So like I would go to people's houses and I'd be like, yeah, I'll have you a quote in 2 hours. And then I'd get in my truck and I'd be like, why the fuck did you just tell him you would get him a quote in 2 hours, dude? Nobody's expecting you to get him a quote in 2 hours, but now that you told him you were gonna, I have to do it. And there's like a million examples of that where I would just consistently overpromise people, but I wanted to be a man of my word so bad that I would do anything just to make sure if I told somebody I was going to do something, I did it. That's who I wanted to be, and that's who I am. And I just took that very serious. And people notice that kind of stuff because most people in business are flaky. Like, you know, I deal with people every day. There's some people that are on their shit and you know it right away. You know it through 2 phone calls with somebody. Like if you're going to work on, say, an outside vendor with something and you're dealing with a representative, like you know who's on their shit and you're impressed by certain people. But then the majority of the people, they're flaky. You got to follow up with them. They said they'd get you something tomorrow. Tomorrow rolls around, nothing. You don't hear from them. They don't answer the phone. Don't be one of them guys. Be the sharp, quick one that always answers your phone quick, that always calls people right back, that always does what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to get a quote to someone Friday night by 6 p.m., you better get them the quote Friday night by 6 p.m. That's just like a basic fundamental value that you should have, but it's going to set your reputation up here compared to everybody else. The other thing I picked up, I said that I always at least start and finish my day with my guys. I wasn't one of these business owners that just sent people to houses, let them do the work, and just sat there and collected money. I was heavily involved in what my guys were doing. My roofers, when I say my guys, they were the only employees I had at the time. Probably too much. I was too involved, which we're gonna get to in a second. But I just always showed my guys respect. I was like on the team with them. I worked alongside with them. And it's not a coincidence that a lot of them are still with me. And like my main guy from back then is one of my most important pieces of my business, but I built it alongside of him. Like, my foreman, my first foreman, Leo, he's been with me longer than anyone else in my company. And it's from these early days that I built those relationships and I gained their respect because I was alongside them building my business. I wasn't having them break their back and I was just like somewhere else doing my thing, letting them like bust their ass for me. I was next to them. So I started my day. I was always there first to the job in the morning, and then after I would take care of all my shit during the day I had to, I would come back and check on them before I'd go home. And then we'll get into what used to happen when I would come back at the end of the day checking.
30 clothes on and hopped on the roof and worked till dark with them. You know, and that happens all the time, but then I look at it like, I don't know, I'm kind of torn about it. Like, is it good that I do that? Because honestly, dude, I don't even take any money from them when I do that. Like, I don't subtract from their pay because I did some work. And like even tomorrow, the way it's set up, we have to get a drying inspection, which is the underlayment and all the metal, and then we need an in-progress shingle inspection. And tomorrow's Friday, so I scheduled both those inspections at the same time, so we have to have like a square or two of shingles put on so they can see how we're shingling, and then they can inspect all the underlayment and the flashing and shit. So I got to go back tomorrow because they've got other shit they're doing tomorrow, and I got to get ready for the in-progress, so I got to put a few shingles down. Dude, and I do that so they can shingle and finish the house on Saturday. Like, it's good for me, we finish, it's good for them, they get to work, they get to finish this job before the weekend, so, you know, they get paid for it next week. Because if I didn't do that, we'd do it Monday, and, you know, they'd only get paid for the tear-off for this week, and the shingles would go for the following week, so. You know, I just helped them out so much. Dude, it's like now I'm helping them move along faster, even though my full week of work isn't set in stone for next week. So I'm helping them move faster to a week where I'm not even sure I can fill their schedule, which honestly seems crazy, but yeah, it seems crazy. I should slow it down.
Okay, I don't know if you can pick up what's going on. One, I'm saying, like, I don't even, like, you know, roofers are paid piecework. So if I'm going to get up on the roof and work 5 hours and get a bunch of squares done by myself or switch a bunch of plywood by myself, which are things that they're paid for, I would do the work physically after my work day from, in this case, 5 p.m. till 9 at night. I'd put 4 hours of work in, and I'm not going to pay them less because I got all this shit done. And then the following day, I'm going to go put a couple square of shingle down just so they can pass an inspection and come back Saturday and finish. I didn't remove those squares from their pay. And the whole reason I did it was so that they could keep working and they would have work to do on Saturday. So 5 days a week wasn't enough. They want to work Saturday. So I'm going to go shingle myself Friday morning so that we can pass an inspection so that my guys have somewhere to go on Saturday and they can keep moving. All while the biggest stressor in my business was keeping the schedule full and giving them a place to work every day. And I'm literally physically killing myself to let them go faster, to run through my work quicker, so then I have to figure out more work for them, even though I'm already struggling to find more work. Which is counterintuitive. It doesn't make any sense. I should have just told them, take the day off on Saturday, come in Monday, and that would buy me an extra day on the schedule to keep them moving. But I was doing the opposite. I was physically working with them so that they could move faster and make more money and also make it harder for me to keep the schedule full. I didn't give a fuck about myself in the beginning, at zero. I didn't care about the money I was making. I didn't care about my peace, my well-being, any time to myself. I didn't care about any of it. I cared about my customers and my employees. And I put my employees before my customers, which I think you should do that. They're more important. They're with you forever. If you have happy employees and you take care of them, your customers will get taken care of as a byproduct of that. I cared so much about my roofers early on, and this just you're hearing it from me early on, my thought process. I'm even saying this, it doesn't make any sense. I'm all stressed out about keeping their schedule full for next week, but at the same time, I'm working till dark with them, coming in early to work without them to keep jobs moving so that they run through the schedule even quicker, which is completely counterintuitive, but I just cared so much about my guys in the beginning.
But dude, I'm not. I'm gonna help them out, and I'm hopefully I figure out some work for next week. I don't know, man. They love me for it. They just do. So hopefully, if we do hit a little lull here, well, I know. They're not gonna think any different of me. It's not my fault. I'm trying, man. I'm trying as hard as I fucking can. I work nonstop. And my foreman knows how hard I'm trying to just have everything ready for him. Roofers want to work every day, man, and I've done a good job of just having shit ready for them, and it hasn't been easy. It has not been easy having all the permits and inspections and sheathing affidavits and engineering letters and just customers and contracts signed and just everything. It hasn't been easy to have work ready for them every day, but I've fucking done it. 6 days a week, sometimes 7. I've had shit ready for them every day.
Most important thing to me at this stage is clearly, you can hear it, is just keeping the guys moving. I wasn't aiming towards growing my business even at this stage. I just wanted to keep the guys moving. I wanted to make it a good place to work. But in doing that, in that being my driving factor, I was growing my business. Because as the crew got bigger, we got more work done. As I had more people to try to keep work scheduled out for, inevitably there's more people that you're trying to fill a schedule for. More people are going to do more work. So the business grew as a byproduct of what I truly cared about, which was keeping the schedule full and making it a good place to work for people. The business just grew as a byproduct. But that wasn't my motivating factor. My motivating factor is, what do my employees need? What do my customers need? And then the business would grow.
And continue to help them with late nights like I do. Just doing a lot right now, man, and I'm getting better at a lot of shit. But it's almost like the scrambling is natural, dude. I'm by myself, so I'm the material runner, I'm the fucking dump truck driver, I'm the permit go-getter, I'm the inspection scheduler, I'm the extra, I'm the 5th guy at the end of most of these days. I'm the sales guy, dude, it's so funny, how much shit I have to handle. It's just crazy, and then I want to kill myself when I make mistakes, but it's dude, you got so much on your plate, there's no way you're not gonna make a few mistakes. It's just crazy, man, and I look back to, when I first started roofing in Florida, we worked for this roofer.
All right, before we get into my start roofing in Florida, the reason I say that I did it the hard way, because I did do it the hard way. Because I was a roofer, I was still trying to do all the business owner type stuff, and not even business owner type stuff, really like stuff that your employees will be doing eventually, like permitting, like ordering material, like selling roofs, like supervising jobs, like dealing with the customers, like keeping your book. All the office business operations outside of roofing. Obviously, I had to do all that stuff. I was the only person in my company that wasn't a roofer, but I still tried to do roofing. So like building a business is hard enough, even if you're not doing the roofing labor. But if you add doing the roofing labor to all that stuff, you're fucking insane. And like, if I had to go back and do it over again, I would not roof a single day. But like, that's all I knew when I started my business. So like, it's not like I just started my business and I don't know how to roof anymore and I'm not a roofer anymore. So that's why, like, I've made videos in the past saying that like in a lot of ways, it's not all bad. There's definitely pros to being the trades guy and then starting a business, but in a lot of ways it's a detriment. I was so married to the roofing work that I would go about my day, go on sales appointments, go to building departments, order material, do all that kind of stuff. I'd come back to the job at 5 in the afternoon, and then I would roof until 9 o'clock at night and just basically destroy myself. So like, I'm already stressed and tired mentally, and then I would destroy myself physically and just have to wake up and do it over again. So like, I did it the hard way, and anyone who has a business that is doing this, your business isn't going to actually start moving forward until you completely leave the labor side of it alone. You're going to have to get away from it. The sooner the better. So like, I'm hearing myself talk, and I remember, because I did it, this was me, but not the right move. And I battled with myself the whole time. Like, I kind of knew in the back of my head, like, dude, in order to move forward, you have to get off of the roof. And I went through this process where I did eventually leave the labor alone, but I hung in there way too long and I completely destroyed myself. I was beating myself up physically, going home, working on the office, sleeping for like 4 hours, and then waking up and doing it again. And I don't recommend it. My business never would have got off the ground if I stayed in that mode. But we're hearing from me when I was in that mode.
I had a crew of 4, and no one else in my crew had ever been on a roof before. And I got hired by this company up in Melbourne.
You've heard that I was a drug addict. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you've never watched me before. I used to be a heroin addict, so I was in Florida for rehab. I actually went to 2 rehabs pretty consecutively in rehab. Like, I got out of one, fucked up for a while, was living in my car, went back to one. When I got out of my last rehab, I found 4 guys in an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting that had never been on a roof before, that were all newly sober. And I went to this roofer and told him I had a crew. And that was my first roofing crew that I'm getting ready to talk about now.
An hour and a half drive. So I'm driving an hour and a half every day, picking everybody up at their separate houses in the morning, driving an hour and a half to jobs, work until dark every day because we're slow as fuck and I'm getting paid piecework. So, you know, I'm doing basically 90% of the work by myself.
Shout out Willis. He was on that crew. He still works with me.
Until dark, and then driving an hour and a half home and doing it every day. Every single day. And I always worked Sundays. A lot of times we'd be shingling a house over the weekend, so I would just go shingle by myself on Sundays because I wasn't able to make.
Just a quick point about why I love the blue collar trades and why I love the blue collar choice as a lifestyle, especially for young men. I was a fucking pussy. I became a drug addict. That like fucks with your like, how do I say it? I was very insecure. I had a lot of anxiety. I was like fucked up socially from being a drug addict for so long. Just, I don't know if it's like the drugs and the brain chemistry that's going on, or if it's more just like you've lived like this lie of a life for so long. Because when you're a drug addict, you're acting at life. Like any job you have, your relationship with your family, your relationship with anybody other than like the couple friends or the one friend that you get high with is an act. You're literally going through life as an actor, just like putting on this like normal person facade when you're not a normal person. You're a complete drug addict. The only thing you actually care about is drugs. And a normal person's not going to understand that, but anyone who's struggled with drugs understands, like, you're literally going through life as an actor. So I think when you live in that space for so many years, like just like hiding this big secret, and this big secret happens to be what is like your driving force in everything you do in life, and everything else is just like this secondary like sideshow act because you have to act like you're a normal person. Maybe just living in that state for so many years, it fucks with your like psychology. It makes you insecure. It makes you all weird. So when I got out of rehab, I was like in a weird spot mentally and socially and with everything. And the best thing that I could do was just go kill myself in blue collar work. Like just be disciplined, wake up early, go fucking destroy myself all day in the hot sun, come home, have no time to even think, no time to do anything, just go to bed and literally wake up and do it again. And like I'm saying in the video, I did it 6-7 days a week, every single week. And like I needed that little period. Physically, I had always been a hard worker my whole life, but I had never like committed and stayed in something until this last run at it. But a lot of young men need that. They need to be tougher. They need to be disciplined. They need the discipline of waking up every day at the same time, going out and like sweating all day and like hurting your body and like being tough and like getting calluses and like using your muscles. I try not to do this, but I can't help it. Like when I'm out in places, like I just like am like disappointed at like some young men and the way they look and the way they walk around with like terrible posture, their fucking shoulders slumped forward, all skinny, like pale, like they don't go outside. Like human beings are not meant to live like that. And an easy way to correct that is to just go get a hard labor job when you're young. And you're going to like build and instill values in yourself that you'll have for the rest of your life. It doesn't mean it's a life sentence in trades, but like if you're going to go work at Costco or you're going to go work at Best Buy or you're going to go work at Chick-fil-A, like just don't get one of those jobs. Just go be a man, be around men, work hard, become a little tougher, and that's going to do way more for you than some bullshit job at Chick-fil-A if you're a young man. I digress. Let's continue.
To make if I didn't. And dude, I was paying these guys good and they had no experience. And I was paying them good.
Again, didn't care about my own money, just like
crazy,
took care of everybody around me.
I don't know. Not a year. Somewhere between 6 months to a year. I don't know. I feel like it's your memory, like, since that was a shitty time, it was probably like 3 months. But in my memory, it was at least 6 months. I did that every day. And the whole time I was thinking, like, it's not going to be like this forever. I'll get out of this. Just keep going for right now, and I'll find something better. Dude, and I did, eventually. And then
That's another valuable skill. Life is very hard sometimes, and you're not always going to be thrilled with where you're at, and you're not going to feel like you're moving forward. And sometimes you just have to know that, like, dude, I just have to stay in this. I'm not going to quit. And eventually, I'll get out of it. Dude, and I used to have to tell my guys that every day on the way home. Like, dude, I remember I had this, I had like a work van, like a cargo van, and I would pick everybody up in the morning. We would go kill ourselves. We would work till dark, and then we'd drive an hour and a half home. And like, dude, my guys were like questioning their life on the way home in the van because like they didn't have roofing experience. They're like, what am I doing? I just got out of rehab. Like I could barely move my body. I'm like cramping up. My hands hurt. And like I would just have to like kind of give them pep talks on the way home, hour and a half. And you can ask Willis, like he still works with me. He was in the van sitting in the passenger seat. I'd be like, all right guys, I'm gonna get us out of here. Just like, let's just keep going. We'll get out of here. We'll get out of here. But I would say it all the time. But eventually I did get us out of there, and we got a better opportunity, and we worked a little closer to home, and we got out of it. But that's a skill, to just endure and just like deal with the pain and just keep going, because you know this isn't a life sentence. A lot of people just want to quit, and you can't quit. You can't quit at anything. If you're moving to a different opportunity, okay, but like you can't quit. Because like you're telling yourself you're admitting weakness, and that's just like a lost skill, I feel, in this country, in young people. Nobody's tough enough. Everybody wants this amazing opportunity. They want to work from home with great pay and flexibility. It's like, dude, you haven't done shit yet. You don't fucking deserve that. And that's just the reality. Like you have to create that for yourself. Nobody owes it to you. But we're like losing, like building fortitude in our young people, and everybody wants to just have this easy, flexible life where like they have all this freedom when they haven't done shit yet. They have no skills yet. They haven't become anybody yet. You don't deserve that. You're supposed to get the shit kicked out of you a little bit when you're a young man. That's how it's supposed to be, because then that will turn you into something. Again, I digress. This is really fun for me. I hope it's entertaining. I don't know. I've never done one of these. I hope it's entertaining. Eastlay's giving me thumbs up. We'll see.
Better than what the next thing, and then the next thing, and then I shingled new construction by myself, got rid of the crew, and I was able to like focus on me a little more. At that time, I got to move into my own house. I was just kind of working by myself. I had a guy that shingled with me for a little bit, but a lot of the times I was just shingling houses by myself. And that's when I bought the books and studied and went and took the tests and got the roofing license. And then the first 2 years of having the roofing license, I wasn't working that hard. I mean, I was. I'm fucking doing roof repairs by myself. Which, people used to think I was crazy. Like other, roofing friends I have and shit. Doing these big tile repairs by myself. So, I was still working hard, but I was making a little better money because they were my jobs. And I was doing it myself. So, the profit I was making on the repairs is pretty good. So if I worked 4 days a week, it was all right. Some days I get done at 2. Some days I had long days, but it wasn't constant, like the life of a re-roofer, tearing off roofs and shingling every day, with a crew. It wasn't like that. I went to the gym every day. I went fishing. I did other shit. I had a business, but not really. I just worked for myself.
So I was just talking about the period before I had a company in Florida when I was just roofing for other companies. Then I had the desire to start my own business because I didn't like the companies that I was working for. So I strategically, which I don't think I really touched on in this video, I strategically decided that I want to go in business on my own. I don't want a boss. And I decided to get rid of my crew, everyone went our separate ways. They went and worked for other roofers. And I started working for this large national roofer doing new construction in big Ryan home type developments. And I would just shingle houses by myself. But because I was on my time and because I was a fast shingler and I was getting paid piecework, I didn't need to kill myself and work till dark. The whole time I worked till dark was to cover my guys' pay. Because I was super fast. I got a lot done in a day. I could make really good money roofing by myself doing new construction and being done at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd get there early, I'd work till 2 or 3, and then I would leave. But when I had a crew with me, because I never had a really good experienced crew, although we got better towards the end, in the beginning, I worked so many hours and I worked so late because I needed to cover my guys. There was a certain amount of squares we had to get done in a day for me to even cover my guys' pay. And early on, I would just pay my guys. I wouldn't even make any money because we were so slow. But I strategically decided, all right, I can't do this with the crew. I need something easier for myself. So I went and started shingling new construction, and then I bought the books to start studying and plan out how I was going to get the license. And then I got the license, and I didn't want a big business. I said it all the time. I said it for the first year or two in business. I don't want a big business. And I used to think $5 million was a big business. I think I've even said it. I might say it in this video oh, well, I didn't have dreams to have a big $5 million business. And now I hear that and I laugh because a $5 million business is a very small business. But I used to say things like that. So I got bit by the bug later of business building and truly buying into the business stuff. Which I think I'm about to get into.
And now here we are in year 3, and now we're fucking rolling, man. And it is insane. It's just insane, all this shit I have to do. I just laugh. And I crush myself doing all this, but I have a good attitude about it. It's just like back when I was roofing in the beginning. It's insane. The days are crazy. I'm 7 days a week nonstop from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to bed. Some of my personal just basic house care is falling apart.
So I just heard that, what I said earlier. The skill to just be able to tell yourself yeah, this is fucking crazy. This is so hard. I'm working 7 days a week. I'm working 16-hour days. This is nuts. And just kind of giggle and be it's not going to be like this forever. Let's just keep going. I learned that skill earlier on roofing for other companies when I was driving an hour and a half and getting home at 10, 11 at night. I learned the skill to just endure then, and now I'm using it in my business when my business was overwhelming me and I'm in that business building period where it's fucking insane. You're going to have to go through the fucking insane business building period because you're by yourself. You don't have enough money or enough jobs to bring in office help. So you're pushing. You're still not like comfortable. You're still having a hard time having steady work coming in. So as far as feeling comfortable enough to hire a full-time assistant or office person or project manager, you just don't feel like you're in a position where you can do it. I will say that most people are in the position earlier than they think. They're just not comfortable with it because they've never done it before. That was my situation. But there's a period where you have no help. You have to do everything. And you start to get busy. And you have to just get through that until like, yes, I can hire somebody now. And then you can start moving forward. But that period where you're a solo guy, you got to get out of that period as quickly as you can. It's going to be hard, but you just got to get through it. Some guys stay in that period and they never really build it to anything. And then they usually like get a little lazy and figure out how they can be comfortable as a solopreneur. And then they're not treating customers right. Their guys don't like them. They're not involved like they should be. Because if you're the only guy in your business, well, you should be doing a hell of a lot. But if you're your only guy in your business and you're just sending people to different addresses and you're just kind of sitting at home being lazy, trying to enjoy your life as a solopreneur, good luck.
And it's just like a sacrifice. I learned how to, it's just going to be it's going to be like that. Because, like, I had OCD with my house. Like, it was fucking spotless constantly. And now, like, I kind of let some shit go. It's still clean to most people's standards, but to me, it's kind of filthy.
All right, dude, nobody gives a fuck about your house.
But that's just like a sacrifice I became okay with making.
There are sacrifices, though, a lot. You got to sacrifice your whole life.
I don't know, man. Like, it's 9:40. I still got 5 minutes till I'm at my house. And I got a couple important things I got to do on the computer, so it's not like I could just go and take a shower. My day's over. And then I got my guy meeting me at my house at 5 a.m. to pick up material because we're going our separate ways in the morning. It just doesn't stop. And not in a bad way, just it doesn't stop. That's just a fact. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I should just kind of let them go, and if they don't finish, then they don't finish, and they just have to pick it up the next day.
Yes.
I know I'll get to that point eventually, but like for right now, it's just like I want to keep moving. And then the other thing is, like I told her we're gonna be here shit on Saturday. I hate rescheduling, even though that's why I care so much that the process goes exactly how I say it's gonna go, and probably to my detriment a little bit.
Yeah, dude, it's no big deal to fall a day behind on a job. Whatever. This isn't rocket science. But, dude, like, when you're early and you're insecure, like, dude, I remember I used to dread calling a customer when their job was coming up and having to move. Like, I know I told you I was going to be there Thursday, but we're falling a little behind. We're going to have to be there Monday. Those phone calls used to kill me. I never wanted to make them. And now it's like nothing. It's like no big deal, man. This isn't rocket science. You fall behind. Just stay in communication. It's no big deal. That type of stuff used to crush me. And then moving back to like me talking about getting home at 9:50, working on the computer, then my guys come meet me in my house 5 a.m. Like that was every day. Every day was like that. And I don't want to scare anybody away from starting their own business. And I was honest with you. I did it the hard way. If going back, I could have done so many things better and easier. Not saying that it would have been easy, but like, dude, I definitely did everything the hard way. I felt like I had to do everything on my own. I felt like I had to help them with the roofing. I felt like I had to be there until we finished the job. Like, I definitely was like doing so many things that I shouldn't have been doing that would have made the rest of it a lot easier. But because I was so stubborn, because I couldn't leave the work alone, because I wasn't prioritizing like what I really needed to focus on and accomplish myself and what I needed to let other people do for me, I made it so much harder than it had to be. So much harder, and it was going to be hard regardless. So like it was very, very hard for me. I can't stress it enough. But it doesn't have to be that way for you. This is how stupid I was. It was me and the roofers in my company at this time. The roofers were the only employees I had. And I was still spending 5, 6, sometimes 7 hours a day doing what I pay them to do, while I had all this stuff over here that I don't pay anybody to do. I'm the one that's supposed to do that. I would leave that over here. So I'm helping with the tasks that I pay people to do for me while not doing the tasks that there's no one else that can do. makes no sense. I was a fucking idiot. But like I said, I did it the hard way. Eventually, I learned. And you can see I kind of battled with myself the whole time I was doing it. Like, I knew I should be focused on the other stuff. I knew in the back of my head that, like, it wasn't right. I shouldn't be wasting my time on the roof with the guys. It just, not that I'm like, not that I don't respect what they're doing, not that I don't want to help them, but like how I can really help them and how I inevitably would help them was to build up all this business stuff over here so that they could grow. Because every minute I spent on the roof with them were minutes that I wasn't growing the business, which would inevitably grow these guys and grow their opportunity. So although I felt like I was helping them because I was up on the roof with them, it was really like a stubborn ego thing. And the way to really help them was to focus on the business, become a real business owner, and grow the business.
And it doesn't always, and it's never a big deal to like push someone back a little bit or reschedule something. Like it's, you know.
No, dude, completely normal.
It's just
idiot.
Like, it's really in my head. So maybe I need to learn how to fix that a little bit. Just like be able to say like, hey, didn't get it done. We're gonna, we'll be back Monday. But I hate doing that so much. Yeah, I want it to go exactly how I said it was gonna go. If I said we were gonna tear it off, dry it in, get it on Thursday, get inspections, have my stucco guy come in Friday, and we'll be done shingle on Saturday, that's how I want it to go. And I just work till dark, and I'm going back in the morning by myself to make sure that happens. I don't know, yeah, so I'm torn. Like, part of me thinks, like, because I'm willing to do that, and because I do that constantly, there's no way I'm gonna fail. Like, I'm willing to do whatever the fuck I have to do to keep this thing moving. And then the other part of me feels like maybe I need to like really let the labor go, like 100%. And just like, dude, if I roll up on a job at 4:30 and I can see that they're not going to finish without me, just let them not finish, and they got to come back tomorrow, and then shit's got to get pushed back. And maybe just, under-promise a little more to my customers in the beginning. So,
a couple of things I just said there. One, those weren't opposing thoughts, although in my head at the time I was treating them as opposing thoughts. There was I always had this big belief in myself because I knew how hard I was going to work. I knew how tough I was. I knew how committed I was. I knew I was going to do whatever the fuck I had to do to make this work. And I said it like, I know I'm not going to fail. Even early on when I didn't really have any traction yet, and I was like slamming my head against the wall, and I wasn't doing things right, and I was overwhelmed, and I was working 16 hours a day, I fucking knew I was gonna make it. Ever since I found this little vault of old videos, I've watched a couple, and there's a bunch of times where I say like, I know I'm built for this shit. I know I'm gonna fucking make it. I know I'm gonna fucking make it. And that belief in yourself, even at that stage when I had no skills, no experience, and no proof that I was gonna make it, that was only on the merit of like, I know how tough I am, and I know how hard I'm gonna work, and I know I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I gotta do. Because I had kind of proven that to myself through my work ethic. So like, and that belief is important because like, if you don't have that belief, like that strong belief that you're going to make it and you're going to do something, you're always going to be hesitant about investing in your business, about like taking the next step, about hiring that employee, about buying that equipment, about getting the bigger office, because you're just going to be holding on to your money because you're not sure if you're going to be able to continue to make more. But if you fucking know, and you could say it to yourself, like, I fucking know I'm going to make it. I know I'm going to make it. You're not going to question that kind of shit. You're just going to be like, all right, this is next. This is the next thing. This is the next thing. And like my business has doubled every single year since I started, and I fucking knew. So like I was never scared to invest big money in my business or like take the next step or like just level up. Like I knew it was going to happen. It doesn't mean like I'm always sure of myself and there's never doubt and like I don't have fear of going out of business, but like I do act with this like overarching belief that like I'm going to fucking make it. Whatever make it means. I mean, the goalpost keeps moving, but me today, to this little idiot, I'm way more successful than this guy thought he would be in 3 or 4 years, however long it's been. What probably, You know, I've heard videos around this time where I was saying that I don't have dreams to have a big $5 billion business. We're more than 3 times the size of what he thought a big business was. So like this little idiot, naive kid would have no idea he would make it to this. But I still have the same thought like he did. Like, I know I'm gonna fucking make it. Like, which is a funny thing to think about. If we think about goals and like being satisfied with where we're going and trying to be happy with what we have. If you're like me, you're probably never going to be satisfied with what you have, so you just kind of have to learn how to have fun with what you're doing, because like the goalpost keeps moving. Like if I told this kid in 4 years you're going to have a $17 million roofing company, he would have been like, get the fuck out of here, dude. 17, get the fuck out of here. But now, same guy, a few years later, with the $17 million roofing company, not even... the same dissatisfied as this kid was with where he was at. It's exactly the same. You have to just learn how to be happy in what you're doing and like really like the process, as cliche as that is. Everybody says that shit. It's true, because the goals don't bring any satisfaction. There's not a point you hit where you're like, ah, oh, this is it. I'm happy here. If you're like me. I mean, that's just my experience. The last thing I'll say is, luckily I recorded some of these, so I'll get to go through them and like do these. And you got to let me know if you enjoyed this. I have no idea. I enjoyed this. I definitely enjoyed this. And there's a lot more videos like this. But the one thing I think about all the time is that without sitting and thinking about what's going on and thinking about the way you're handling certain situations, thinking about how you're behaving in your business, thinking about like all the different tasks you have in your business and like what is truly important, and am I wasting my time on something that somebody else should be doing, without like a proper introspective brain to really consider what you're doing, where you want to go, and how things are going. You're not going to be able to improve in real time, and you have to be able to improve in real time. Like, you have to be able to look at yourself and look at your business and think like, okay, what the fuck is going on? What's going on here? Like, am I doing this right? Am I spending too much time over here? Am I neglecting something that's going to help my business? Like, do I keep putting this task off to the side, even though this task is probably the most important thing that's going to grow my business? Marketing could be, for example. Maybe you've been wanting to hire a third-party marketing agency, but you just keep putting it off. And you're just getting too busy with the day-to-day and supervising your guys. Well, that stuff is not going to grow your business like getting set up with a good marketing person and starting to focus on marketing your business. If you do zero marketing today, then the best thing you could do for the future of your business is to start doing marketing. And if you've been putting off marketing, you are putting off the exact thing that's going to change your business and get you to where you want to go. And I use marketing because I know that's a big one for new business owners. We just think we're going to get referrals and we think we're just going to grow organically, which you are, but only to a certain point and slowly. There's not a single big company in the country that doesn't market their business. Everybody markets their business, but like new guys hold out way too long to start marketing their business. So I use marketing your business as an example for what I'm trying to say, but there's a million examples. Maybe you know your proposals look like shit. And maybe you know they could look a lot better. And maybe you know that you could have a really nice branded sales folder that looks professional, that matches your business card, with certain brochures and materials that you could take while you go and do your presentations, with samples, and you could really professionalize your sales presentations and sales process. And you know you need to, but you keep putting it off. Well, that's the exact thing that's going to grow your business and take you to the next level. But you keep putting it off because you get so tied up and you get so bogged down by the day-to-day of your business that you can't elevate and really think about your business objectively and be introspective about what's going on and be able to say, what am I doing? I just wasted 4 hours today on a job site. They didn't even need me there. It could have been a 15-minute visit and I spent 4 hours there. But if you sit and think, you'll be able to say, okay, man, I have to improve my business. I have to professionalize my business. I got to do the sales folders. I got to do the marketing. I got to do whatever the thing is. But if you never sit and think with yourself, you're never going to make those improvements. And I used to do this in the truck, and I would just have conversations with myself. I didn't even really listen to music, or sometimes I'd listen to podcasts, but sometimes I'd just drive in silence. And I still drive in silence a lot. Because when you're busy, you don't really have that much time, but driving is a perfect time to think about your life and think about your business. And then just pop the camera on or pop the recorder on and just spit out your thoughts. Don't just think about things all day and not do anything. Think about things with the intention of figuring out what you're going to actually implement or what you're actually going to change. This is a very good exercise that I've always done. And I always am looking to improve my business. I've built like basically like a habitual lifestyle out of like being introspective and figuring out what's the next move and what I'm going to do next and what I need to do better, what things I need to offload, what things I need to start to pick up and dive into and learn more about. And it's through just sitting and thinking with myself. If you like this, please let me know in the comments. Please let me know with likes. Let me know with messages. Just let me know, because like I have a lot of these videos and I can like throw little videos like this out there all the time, or even just use little clips. But I want to know if you like specifically the format of me basically listening to myself and giving commentary on it. So if you liked it, let me know. Peace.